Ted McGinnis really did know how to draw the DC characters. What is that? Blue, did you chew on the... That's right, it's me. Batman, what are you doing here? I heard, through a little rumor, that apparently Robert Pattinson is playing me in the next live-action movie. He may have been in the bomb in his newer films, but we have all seen Twilight. And damn it, Pattinson, I'm a billionaire, and I still want my $12.50 back. Well, what do you suppose I should do about it? How about you get back to working on those DC Comics reviews? You're about 8 months late. Oh, right, shoot, I almost forgot. Thanks, Bats. And change your clothes, you smell like man-ass. I'm Batman. Let's do it. Oh, wait, I'm missing something. Aha. Much better. Let's get to work. Much better. Now, let's get to work. Greetings, geeks and girls. It's me, once again, broadcasting you back from my humble little nerd cave to go back to the comic book reviews. It's been a while, but let's get into it really fast. Superman 2. I don't know if I saw an edited version, but I could have swore that this movie ended with a mind-erasing kiss, yet the cut I saw just was a repeat of the flying around the world to change time thing. I don't know if there's an alternate cut I just didn't see or what. But nonetheless, this movie is still a great addition to the Superman franchise. I'm going to go a little bit more in-depth this time because this movie goes into in-depth. This tackles a story I don't think I've seen yet. Superman, if he found humility. He sees Lois Lane as his love. He wants to go back to being Clark after Lois finds out about him of her own accord, which is just impressive. But the big thing about this movie, to me, is the fact that Clark finally gives up what his father wishes. It's kind of like in Spider-Man 2, where Peter leaves Uncle Ben's wishes behind to pursue a better life, which I think is one of the best stories ever told. And this is 100% exactly like that story. Richard Donner's work in this film definitely deserves credit, considering every shot feels like it came right out of a comic book. And, of course, the actors do their damnedest, and this is probably the most human Superman has been in one of these movies. Christopher Reeves really tries to show, showing a god lose his power is very hard. You see Clark get the snot beat out of him in one of these fights, and it's honestly really, really hard to watch. Because he takes a beating. He's bleeding out his nose, several teeth are lost, black eye, he's just really beaten up. And, of course, I gotta give props to Zod, who, I forget the actor who played him. I should have probably worked on this movie a lot better than I did. Nonetheless, Zod is one of the more recognizable villains in Superman's roster. Small point, why the heck don't we use any other villains besides Zod and Luthor? We tried Doomsday, it didn't work. We tried using, well, we'll get to those ones later. But nonetheless, I feel like this movie still captures the human side of Superman, which is very rarely shown. You see, because the best way of showing Superman as a person is to show why he's better than us, not just in strength and speed, but in his strength of will. He behaves exactly as a superhero is supposed to behave, and they show that here. They show that he will ditch his ditch his girlfriend, and just ditch his responsibilities as Clark in order to save the city that he needs to save. But you also show that he can be worn down just like any mortal man, which is very interesting and kind of challenging mentally. But one of my favorite things about this movie, well, most people's favorite things about this movie, is, again, Zod. One of the best performances in this movie. I think he might be one of the better DC villain performances. He's up there with Jack Nicholson as the Joker for me. And he did a damn good job portraying this overpowering ruler of everybody. He rules all over. He basically, he ruled Krypton. He tried to. He rules Earth. He rules his teammates that work with him. Like he basically, if you disagree with him, your ass is going down. And I love that mindset. That shows how powerful a villain really can be. But also, this is the first time in a Superman movie that was somebody actually threw a punch. They actually fight in this movie, because if you remember, in the first movie, he doesn't really fight anyone. He saves people, but he never throws a punch. He never fights a villain, because Lex Luthor, he isn't someone you should need to fight because it's beneath his character. But when it comes to Zod, there's a battle going on. Buildings are blowing up. There's cars being thrown. It's exactly what you want to see. And I think combining with how a movie can both be incredibly intelligent and challenging, yet mind-numbing and badass, that shows the perfect superhero movie to me. I'm not saying this is the best superhero movie I've ever seen, not by a long shot, but it is definitely one of the best Superman movies ever made. And given what they've got, I don't know if that's really a competition, but nonetheless, I still think it takes the prize at least at number 1. Also, now that we've gotten that one done, I should probably just rate it so that way I can spend a little bit more time talking about how these reviews are even going to keep working. So I rate Superman 2 as a 5 out of 5. 5 Richard Donner scores out of 5 John Williams scores out of 5, because that score is awesome. I should also probably say that soon I am going to be working with the animated shows. So, yeah.